The Re-Upload Talks by Sam Frazer, the podcast that will shape you and hopefully move you for the better. Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Re-Upload Talks. This is episode 2. Today we have a special guest. This is Will. He's my brother.
Hello.
Boss as well. Tell everybody about yourself real quick.
21 years old, Sam's younger brother, mortgage broker, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
So we're going to talk about 3 topics similar to what we did last week. And the first one we're going to talk about is what does success mean to you? How do you avoid burning out? And how to stay locked in and focused on your goals. Okay, I'll put the phone away now. And before we get into that, let's just talk about, tell me about yourself, what's going on at the moment.
Going into winter, obviously, in our industry, as you know now, market seems to quiet down a little bit, start to prepare, just do some business planning, get ready for, that new financial year where the market was obviously pick back up again mid to late August, in my opinion. That's really it. Just a lot of work at the moment, just, sharpening everything up before we really slow down for that month or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I mentioned last week with the podcast, we're not here to talk bullshit anymore. We're just here to have serious conversations, and that's why we call it the Re-Upload Talks. And yeah, I hope everybody picks up on something, and if there's anything that bothers you in this episode or anything that you're going on with at the moment, we'll once again leave some contacts where you can go reach out, and if you need to speak to someone. And just at the end of the day, as we said a lot last week, love yourself. Love yourself. But let's go and get into the first topic. So what does success mean to you, Will?
Obviously success is different to everyone, so my meaning is going to be different from everyone else's. Some people is money, building a business, having a good, comfortable job they're happy with, or having a family, living in their dream home, whatever it may be. Mine would obviously be, obviously all of the above, but at this time of my life would be continuing to grow the business. Really continue to be respected amongst a lot of people in the same industry or similar industries as me, but mostly really just continuing to build the business, hopefully grow the business, expand it, and see what happens from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, success is it's something where it's subjective. It can be very subjective. It's just at the end of the day, it's how you want to hold yourself and your goals. So, if you want to be a successful person, that all starts within yourself. And if you can get to a place where you feel comfortable and sufficient in what you're doing, and with your mental health, emotional health, physical health, social health, that all comes first. And then, once you're aligned and you're doing really well, then success comes in anything and everything you want to do. If that's you want to be a professional athlete, if that's you want to be a doctor, lawyer, whatever it is, mortgage broker. And it's a way that you can, mean something, can do something well in your life. There's a lot of companies that look at and they have KPIs and...
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, happiness is the biggest part of success, because if you're not happy, then it doesn't matter if you have everything that I just stated, because you're not happy. So I do feel like happiness is the biggest key point to success. If you're not happy within yourself and everyone and everything around you, then you're never going to be able to hit your targets. Everyone has different targets, but without happiness, nothing is going to be realistically achievable.
Of course. And are you happy?
Of course. I mean, being alive every day is happy. I'm healthy. I can't complain. Obviously, there's people in the world that are going through a lot worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not happy when everything in my life is good. I've got a good group of friends. I've got a very good family. I have a roof over my head. We have a business. We get to travel whenever we want, work from wherever we want. It'd be disrespectful, in my opinion, to sit here and tell you that I'm not happy in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, happiness is something that you need to have, and happiness can come from all different types of aspects in your life. And
playing sport can be anything.
Obviously, and for me, my happiness came a lot with once, acceptance, and when you're able to accept, especially everything I spoke about last week with my eating disorders and stuff, and be able to accept that, that there was issues, and you go speak to people, and then you go get things start to get resolved, and then happiness continues. Like, but at the end of the day, like, I'm happy within myself and with my life. Like, I'm blessed with everything that goes on. Everyone needs to, you need to get that feeling when you're blessed, and you need to really take a time and take a break and be like, okay, am I comfortable with my situation? Am I happy with how I'm going on and how I'm moving?
Yeah, of course. I think, a lot of people have to do self-reflection, some people more than others, but happiness and success and everything that you want to measure by that, you have to be able to a degree, self-reflect on you as a person, your mental health, your physical health, everything, because without self-reflection, it could be just, in bed at night thinking, sitting there thinking, or it could be having a journal or even your notes on your phone. But you have to be able to self-reflect, have your happy place, have some hobbies, because without any of that, your mental health will take a toll. If all you do is, work, you're not going to be as happy, or you may not be able to get to that successful point of your life without doing that.
Do you have your breaks? Do you take those moments where, it's been tough in work and with life, where, if it's just going for a nice walk, if it's just going and having, your time watching TV just with yourself, like, how do you reflect and take that time?
Well, because I live alone, I have a lot of time to sit there and think. You can turn the TV off, you can make sure there's no sounds, and just sit there and think about your day and your goals and your happiness, of course. So I'm one of those people that I don't overly self-reflect like some other people do. I'd probably, out of anyone I know, do this least amount of self-reflection. But yeah, I mean, I definitely do sit there at night time when I get back from the office, especially after a long day, and just really think about everything. That could be even planning for the next day to make sure I've got that schedule ready to go, and really just go through some different ideas I have, with my life and also with the business, where I do get that time just to really sit back and think.
Yeah, for me, I'm someone that basketball is my therapy. I've always said it, and like, I will go and shoot the ball thousands of times, and that's where I feel at my best and my happiest, and I'm able to take that time out of my day and think about everything that's going on with life, and you need that. Everybody needs that reset, that break, that space where they can go and take that time that you need, because at the end of the day, you need that clarity, you need that space, you need to reset your mind for that next day.
Yeah, for some people, it may not be a sport, or maybe it's going for a walk along the beach, or just walking around, your suburb where you live. Could be going to the shops, going to the cafe, and really just having some alone time where you can just think about yourself as a person without other people being in your ear.
And back to being successful, how do you help yourself achieve your certain goals to be successful? Like, what do you put in? What time do you take? What do you do to become successful? And like, how are you going to succeed in your life and your goals do you want to hit?
I'll say hard work is, you may not be the best what you do, but if you work hard and put the longest amount of hours in, and in saying that, putting the hours in means you're doing the right type of work during those hours, not just sitting in an office doing nothing. I think you have to have to sort out at the start of the week, put aside time to be able to catch up with people, learn from them. They may not even be able to benefit you in the way of bringing you success. At the time you may think that, but they could be people that, they're not going to give you business, for example, but they're going to give you the right ideas and examples and educate you a little bit more, give you some very informative answers to any type of questions you have. But I definitely think you need to put the time aside to really catch up with people that talk to them about what they're doing right and what they're not doing right, even if they're in a completely different business as you. But at the end of the day, everyone sources business to a degree the same way. It's because you're not selling a product, even though you are, but your product is yourself. So you have to sell yourself to people.
And what about, like, you've done extremely well this year with, having articles written about yourself and having, well, let's just start with business stuff. So how does it feel to, start succeeding and being, one of the top brokers at your age in Australia? Like, what does that mean to you?
Well, I don't really look at it like, I would never say like to my age, because I don't want to compare myself to other 21-year-olds that are in the business, because they could be doing something completely different to me. Mm-hmm. So I look at it as a whole. So obviously I don't really look at it like, oh, I'm successful because I have so much more to achieve. Obviously having an article written about you is, it's nice, but it doesn't change the person I am. It doesn't change the way I'm going to operate. It doesn't change anything about me at all. Obviously it's nice to, get your flowers, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to compare myself to someone that's my age, because I want to be eventually within, I have my goals where eventually within the next few years I'll be a top performing as a whole, not just towards my age, because I've never been that person that's going to be like, well, that person's 21 and I'm doing that, they're doing that. I'm not going to compare myself to that person. I want to be able to compare myself to the whole group, the whole cohort, you could say, to be able to, say that I'm competing against them out there.
So obviously, with success and, spending all your time working and, doing a lot, and I'm someone that's had this as well. I've burnt out. Like, when I've burnt out, I've had, I remember I had a panic attack back in, I want to say I was a couple of years ago. I was working at uni, at the uni bar, and there was so many thoughts going through my head with uni, with life, with work, with social, with just everything, and I felt like I was gonna like pass out or something.
Yeah.
And that was the first time when I felt like, I think I'm burnt out. Like, I need to. I've been burnt out before, but like that's one time where I thought about it. I'm like, I need to take that break. So how do you manage, not burning out? And when you have burnt out, what do you do?
I think exercise or like some type of physical activity is a big thing. Obviously, because you may go to the gym, it could be, or go for a walk, or whatever it may be, in the morning or afternoon or nighttime, or during your lunch break. So it can give you that separation of, I'm at work and now I'm just going to enjoy that time, get away from that environment to focus on myself. So it really comes back to the last question, obviously. I also think change your work environment. If you're working from the office 5 days a week, or work from the office now 4 days a week, that 1 day a week work from your house, or work down at the beach, whatever you're comfortable in, whatever is the right environment for you, to be able to change up the whole scenery, because that can have a huge impact, in my opinion. It can have a very big impact just by changing the environment you're working, because when you're looking at the same wall 5 days a week, well, you're probably going to burn out, because eventually you will get to a point where I can't do this anymore, because you just had enough of the whole environment that you're in. I think obviously overworking is a big thing where some people can't control that. If you are, you work very long hours, well, during your day of work, try to, as I said, go for a walk, just to separate that work from your personal life balance, work-life balance.
And how do you achieve the perfect work-life balance?
Well, I think, as I said, right, everyone measures burning out differently. Some people will burn out after 3 days of work. Some people will burn out after 6 months. Some people they don't have it in them when they will ever burn out. I try once every couple of weeks, or even once a week, to change the environment that I work in. It could be working from my car one day, or it could be working at a cafe, or it could even be just working, on my couch or at my table back at my house, where I can change up the environment to just, rejuvenate. And then by the next day, I'm like, even though I may only work 4 or 5 hours a day instead of 10 hours when I'm in the office, or 12 hours, at least I'm still going to get everything done, because I don't have the distraction around me where I can get everything done. And I can, go for a walk or go to the shops, whatever it may be, go for a drive, just to clear my head and, get back to be able to dial back in for the next day, or when I get back to my, wherever I'm working from, that work location, to be able to, go full steam ahead, where I'm not going to get the phone call like, I don't want to do this, or I'm going to have something come across my desk where I'll be like, I don't want to do this. I'll be ready to go at it.
I feel like just with burning out, you just gotta try and avoid it to your best capability. If that is, 1 day a week you're working from home, if that is, say even if it's just playing sport or something, you go take a day off, take it easy one day. You just need to avoid it at best of capabilities. Obviously, there's some circumstances where you can't get into it, but still, it's something you just need to remember. Take that break, take that time for yourself, like what we've spoken about. That's why I thought two of these topics go quite well together, because it's something that you need to worry about is success and burning out, because with success, burning out can happen.
I mean, it's definitely easier said than done. Some people don't have that
Of
flexibility to be able to say, I'm going to work from home. But
1000%.
you do also have, everyone has an hour of the day during their lunch break where that can be your time to leave your phone in your office. Don't take any device with you. Go get a coffee. Go for a walk, just so you can, rejuvenate, as I said.
Even the great ones, the pro athletes like LeBron and like you good actors like Dwayne the Rock. He's not a good actor, but he's your successful actors like Dwayne the Rock Johnson. They take the breaks as well. I want to imagine as much as anybody else does. You just need to be able to take that time for yourself. Take that time for yourself or with your family, because the more you burn out, and if you are burnt out, the less successful you. Exactly, you couldn't.
It's not even about success. It's about your mental health.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
going to feel like shit.
1000%.
You may eventually start getting anxiety, or even touch wood for some everyone, but depression.
Of course.
You can end up in a hospital bed because you're not sleeping at night because all you're thinking about is your work, or whatever that whatever you're burning out from. That could be the reason.
Mm-hmm.
So you really just have to think about yourself at those times, because the last thing you want is to be in a hospital or be stuck in your bed because you're so sick, and then you're not going to be able to do any work at all for 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or over a month or months. So yeah, you really do have to think about yourself in those situations where you do feel like you're getting to that point where you may burn out, because as I said, the last thing you want is to not be able to do work for weeks.
And what about with social media, especially it's so toxic, and you're seeing constantly people posting about this, people saying this about how they want to be this person. You're seeing all this image that people are trying to be.
Yeah.
How do you burning out from social media?
For me,
do you take that break?
Yeah, so for me, I use my social media for strictly work.
Yeah,
I
like
90% of
business
I have
page.
a 90 to 10% rule. 90% of what I use social media for Instagram, for example, Instagram, LinkedIn, if you want to call it that,
Facebook,
Facebook,
social media.
yeah, even Twitter to a degree. I only use it for I only use it for work. I won't go. I will have maybe at night time. I'll go on for 10 to 20, possibly 30 minutes, just to look at what people are doing. If I see anything interesting, because obviously you have the popular page where it's an algorithm set towards what your interests are, so you just keep scrolling.
Yeah.
So most of the time I'm on Instagram or any type of social media, it's strictly for work. From the second I wake up, all the way till the night time, even some days I won't even look at any of these social medias for the personal side of it. I strictly would just look at it for the content that I post for work, because there's so much negative on social media, especially Instagram. For a lot of people that use Snapchat a lot on Snapchat, TikTok as well, because you're looking at people's lives that, yes, sure, they do live that life, but you don't know what they're doing for the other 99%, probably 99.99% of their life, because they're just showing an image that, you'll get FOMO, I wish I was doing that, but you really don't know what their circumstances are, where that's going to play a negative role in you. So I do think if you're only using social media for your personal life, try to limit the time that you're using it, because otherwise you're going to look at what other people are doing, and naturally you're going to want to do what they're doing.
Yeah. Now I'm someone that's on social media way too much, so much, hours and hours a day. But I don't put myself in those people's shoes. I go and see stuff, and I consume stuff where I'm not trying to be. I'm not watching, I don't know, a bunch of people, let's say health people who are trying to do this and this and this. I did, and that's where a lot of stuff came from. I had a bad relationship with social media during my eating disorder phase, when they were at the worst, and and then I watched some of the stuff, and I copied what they did with eating so little and worrying about calories so much and stuff, and it's just not healthy for you. So you just need to limit yourself, and it's okay to consume whatever you want on social media. I would never tell someone not to watch something or do something, but take it with a grain of salt what you say, because at the end of the day, you might say something that won't impact you and change you, who you are, and now I'm a person, I know most of my social media content is people eating at places or cooking, and others always basketball stuff, and but it's a lot better than it was. And social media, it's an evil thing, because especially with apps like TikTok, where they see you like one thing and then you get locked on this rabbit in this rabbit hole. You're just saying stuff about this and this and this and this and this and this to the point you're just like, fuck. It just feels like reality to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you grow up, right, or when you're hanging around certain people, you start to act like them.
Oh yeah.
If all you're doing is looking at your social media for 5 hours a day, or 6 hours, or even an hour a day, you're going to eventually start acting and being, start acting like the people you watch. Start building characteristics like the people you watch. So you have tendencies like the people you're watching because it's all you know, right? So it's it can play a very negative role on people's lives.
Yeah, and as I said, if it's something that you do find yourself looking at a lot and consuming a lot of your time with social media, again, that's fine, but take your break. Take that break. If you're on, however long it is, take that hour or two off when you go for a walk outside, whatever it is. Go hang out with your friends or your family, or whatever it is. Just take that time because, as I said, you'll be locked in a rabbit hole and you'll feel like it's like reality at the end of the day. So,
Definitely.
But yeah, it's just a toxic thing. Like, have you like think about times when you've been like looking at social media or something and there's something you're just constantly getting played on and played on and played on and that affected you?
I wouldn't say it's ever really affected me. Obviously, I say stuff like I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I like golf. I like watched a little bit of golf. I find cars interesting. Watches, especially my popular page. My what's it called?
For you page.
No, on Instagram, the the page, the discover page, whatever it is.
Rails page, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, like I see a lot of watches. I'm like, I want this.
Yeah.
I've never let it play a negative role on me, where it's had a bad effect. But when you look at that stuff all day, you just want it. So yeah, I look at it that way, where I've never had it affect me though.
That's good. How to stay locked in and focus on your goals. So how do you stay locked in? Like, are you a type of person that's like has just straight tunnel vision and you just see that one thing and you just want to hit it? Are you someone that, can take in distractions and, and do multiple things at once to be able to achieve that goal? Like firstly, let's talk about that. Like, are you someone that you have that goal and that's just all you think about? Or are you someone that's able to do that one goal and then also focus on goal B and C?
No, I think you obviously have to separate what's important to you and what's like have a list of, number one, what's the most important thing, going all the way down the list of what's the least important thing, because when you start trying to do this 100 things at once, you can't put in the certain amount of time you need to apply to get to that most important goal you have. So I do think you definitely need to set yourself a list of what's important and what's least important to obviously be able to achieve that. You go down the box, obviously you work down the list. When you achieve that first goal, go to the next goal. Even if you want to work at a couple of things at once, but when people start trying to achieve so many different things at once, it makes it very hard. You have to sort of find your niche. What do you want to focus on? What do you want to be your target market? You could say, even if it's not to do with work, if it's just to do with life, you still have to, write that list down and start working on what's the most important thing. It could be for someone that's trying to go to the gym. What do you want to get big at first, and what's the least important thing you want to do? Because you can't. Yes, you can do everything at once, but it's going to take you a lot longer when you start trying to do every single thing at once. So I do think you definitely need to. I don't want to say it's a tunnel vision thing, because when you have tunnel vision, you're going to be so locked in on one thing that you don't know if it's the right thing for you, because all you're doing is you're not looking outside the box, you're just looking straight down. So, but yeah, you definitely need to find a niche or find what's important to you.
If you have a certain goal, you don't have to explain what that goal is at the moment, or you can just speak about it in general. But like, what's with this goal you're trying to achieve, how are you going to achieve that?
Yeah, so obviously, as I pretty much said, right, I set a list and it's obviously all in my head, I don't write it down.
Yeah.
But I had a number of goals which I've already beaten, you could say, or I've already completed. Achieved. Great, thank you. Achieved. Right. So now I'm obviously working towards my next goal, and obviously it's really the same method as everything I've done now, but just to a different level.
Yeah, that's good, mate. That's really good. I think just with being able to achieve your goals and being focused, it just depends on the thing. So if you have a goal that is so ahead of everything else and you just want to put all your effort into, but still you have to worry about the rest of life. But when you're focused on that one thing, do it. Succeed. Be locked the fuck in. I remember I've had times when I don't know, say I try to make a certain team, I was focused. Every time I put Wales on the court, I was focused on trying to make that team. That was the goal. That was the thing I wanted to achieve. But there's also some times where, if you might even have a goal of, I don't know, trying to get the new job, you can't just think about that one job, because there's always going to be something else out there. That's the biggest thing with goals. Like, goals is something, goals is something you need to have. But at the end of the day, if you don't achieve that goal, and I'm telling you, Will and I both haven't achieved many goals that we've had in our life, it's okay. You move on, you get ready, you redeem. If you fail, you get back up out of that seat and go and achieve it next time. Go find another way to make that goal happen. Because
you could have 100 goals and you only achieve 2 or 3
Yeah.
or 4, even 5.
Yeah.
And of those goals, you're still achieving to a degree, some of the goals you've set yourself. It's like you don't want to set yourself goals that aren't, like, you can't achieve them. It's like someone that wants to lose weight. You're not going to be like, well, my goal is to lose 50 kilograms, because that's going to be extremely hard. Start low.
You gotta be realistic.
Work your way up. Start with that 1 kilogram, then go to that 5, and then just keep upping. The level of that goal you would like to achieve. You never want to set goals that are unachievable, because you're just setting yourself up for failure. But at least you can always aim high, because at least if you don't get to the top, you still may get halfway there. But when you start trying to set goals that are just unachievable, and you keep failing that goal, if that does happen, you're just gonna upset yourself. It's not gonna be good for you, your mental health, the people around you, because you're gonna be extremely upset with yourself, because you're setting goals that are unachievable.
That, like, bouncing back from a fail, like, say you fail, something happens, something doesn't go your way, and you're like feeling like shit, like, fuck, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do the way I wanted to do it. How do you get up, that next moment, and how do you have that mentality when you can go and want to achieve and move on from that?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's different for everyone else. My opinion would be, don't feel down about it. Don't be really upset with yourself. Just keep going for that goal until you get there, because you will get there, but it could just take you a lot longer to get there. It could take you years. Because not everything is going to come easy in life. Nothing comes easy in life. If it comes easy, it probably won't last. The things that you have to work extremely hard for, they're the things that will stay around. So you just got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing till you do reach that goal. Because you may eventually get to that goal, but it may not be to the level you want, but you're still, to a degree, reaching that goal. So you just got to keep working towards, the succession. You have to have a succession plan of how you're going to get there, but you have to keep working towards that plan.
Who do you look at, and who do you look at personally, and who do you look at in the business world that is someone that, like, is a big figure, or just a figure that you look at that they do a great job with achieving their goals? Who do you look at?
It's not something I really like. There's a number of people obviously I look at, but it's hard. I don't think it's good to look at someone and be like, I want to be like that person, because first of all, you don't know what they've done to get there. Second of all, they've probably done completely different methods to get there, where you can't look at that person like, I'm going to do what they did, because for everyone it's completely different. You're going to have a completely different niche towards that person, or you're going to have a completely different goal towards that person, where it's not good to compare yourself to that person to be like, I want to be like this person. So I don't think it's overly, obviously it's good to have like an idol, or someone you look up to, but when you look at that person like, I want to be like this person, it's probably not the best thing to do. That's just my opinion.
Good. And what about, being the youngest in the room in some of those situations, and that you're going up against people that are older and are more experienced in your field? Like, how do you feel like you can achieve anything within yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I never really look at it like I'm the youngest in this room, because there's people that are a lot older in that room, but I've achieved more than them.
Yeah.
So it's, I never look at myself like I'm the youngest in this room, because I don't want to look at myself that way. I just want to be looked at like, it's just another person.
Yeah.
So I would never look at myself like the youngest person in this room, because you don't really know if those people, just because they're older or they have more experience, doesn't mean that they're good at what they do. It really comes down to, as long as you keep building your relationships with your clients or whatever it may be, you're not going to have an issue, right? So you just have to add your special touch to it. Experience doesn't mean anything as long as you know what you're talking about and you know how to achieve whatever you're working to achieve on.
Someone that I've always looked at, and I was never the biggest fan of him, but he always was someone that always had that mentality to go and have no excuses, and would be up at the crack of dawn to be able to get done his get done the work to be able to achieve his goals was Kobe.
Mm.
You look at Kobe's mentality. When looking at someone's mentality like Kobe did, how does that influence you? Like, what influence does like having a good mentality? Not even Kobe, just how does it? What is how does your mentality influence you? Like, how are you able to look at someone that has a great mentality, and how do you help yourself achieve a good mentality?
Compare like Kobe, right? The reason he was the way he was. Obviously, they call it the Mamba mentality, where you play through injuries and everything. But it's one of his speeches. He said when he was that little boy at the games, and he'd go there and you pay all this money to watch your favorite player to play, and they don't play because they're injured. It's upsetting where he would play through injuries. So it's the fact that every time he went down, he'd get back up. Doesn't matter how injured he was, he would continue to he'd play that game. So he wasn't letting people down, because at the end of the day, you don't want to let the people that care about you down.
Mm-hmm.
For in his circumstance, it was his fans. He didn't want to let those little kids. He didn't want to let the little kids down, just like what happened to him when he was that little kid.
Yeah.
He got let down, not being able to see his favorite player play. So the fact that he could continuously get up and get up and get up after injury, or when he would fall down, or if he didn't achieve what he wanted to achieve, and he would always continue to get back up. He'd be the first in the court and the last in the court every single day. It just shows the harder you work, and as long as you continue to show up, it will pay off eventually.
At the end of the day, in life and business, you want to be able to make a name for yourself and be able to succeed in any journey that you want to be able to reach. And the only way to do that is a no fucks mentality at the end of the day.
You want people to look at you
exactly.
and know the person that you are, for the person you are, for what you've achieved, not from what other people say about you,
Mm-hmm.
or from the place you work at, or the people. You want everyone to look at you and respect you for you. Will Frazer, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's as easy as that.
Mm-hmm. And what about like when you get criticism? Like, how do you take that, and like what do you do with it?
It doesn't bother me. People that care about you, you can call it they will criticize you, because they care about you. If other people that you don't know are criticizing you, I think it means that you're doing well.
Yeah.
When people talk badly about you or don't say the best things about you, it means they're jealous of you. They want to be the person you are. You could say it's like a kid getting bullied. You only get bullied because people are jealous of you.
Yeah, they're trying to be you. Yeah, exactly.
It shows you're doing something right when people do criticize you.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. It really is. Yeah, something with criticism is just like you cop it on the shoulder, and you
just can't let it get to you.
You can't let it get to you, because like when something gets to you, it can affect you in so many different circumstances, in so many different ways. I know, and it can drain you so much, if that's mental, physical, social, emotional, whatever it is. Again, that's funny how everything together is worked out in this episode, is that if you don't take those breaks, if you don't focus on your goals, if you don't have that mindset, and criticism can affect you so much.
It comes back to the person you are. If you're strong-minded and you don't let things get to you, then you should be just okay.
Yeah.
You'll continue to be happy. You'll continue to achieve your goals and continue to succeed.
So similar to what we did last week, how we did that explain it part. So obviously last week I explained about what eating disorders were to me and what they were in general. So what I want you to do is explain. Let me see, what's something good? Let's just, we'll go through some questions. So, okay, let me see. Let's top of my head. Okay, so how does it feel to be able to do? How does it feel to be so close to your family and be able to speak to and have those people in your life that helps motivate you for your goals?
It's the biggest support that anyone could ever ask for. Having the people close to you, especially your family, show that be able to give you that advice. You can lean on them when you need that help, or when you want to ask them questions. I think it's all anyone ever asked for. Some people will say they don't care about that, but deep inside, everyone cares about having the support from their family and their close friends. Because when those people show you support, it can bring you up so high and make you. It can add to your happiness. So it can give you a lot of confidence.
And what is the next one? Is what does the future look like for you? Where do you? I don't want to say where do you see yourself, so fuck that shit, but like, what does the future look like for you? How are you going to make your future work for you?
In my opinion, just continue to hustle and grind, and continue to succeed with my goals and achieve all of those goals, and just keep scaling them up, where I can, the world is your oyster. No one can stop you. The only person that can stop you is yourself. it's what they say, you're your own worst enemy, because it's always, up here, right? You're in, your thoughts inside. So for me, especially, I just want to continue to succeed and grow as a person, and as in the business as well, in the shape of the business, where I can, that nothing can ever stop me.
Good. And what gets you out of bed every morning? What motivates you to keep going?
Well, in my role, obviously, being able to help people achieve their goals of buying their dream property or saving thousands of dollars per month in interest, where they can, that's, saving money is a big thing, especially in the current economy that we're in. Interest rates are high, the cost of living is high. Sydney, was just named the second most expensive city in the world, I believe. Just being able to help people achieve their goals and dreams, make it their reality. Instead of a dream, people dream about it. Let's make it your reality, so you can continue to be happy yourself.
Just a little businessy question. What about if you're giving advice to a first home owner? What would you do? First home buyer. What would you say to them?
That's a good question, because obviously I was
That's why I
not
asked
just
it.
recently a first buyer. I mean, you have to have
it.
a team around you, right? It's not something you can do on your own, because you're not experienced in the field to walk into a property and be like, that's not good for me, or I know, going up and being like, I know the best rate, because you don't, because you have your own job where you need to focus on that. Have the right team. That can be having a good conveyancer or solicitor to be able to review the contract of sale, do building reports and strata reports if it's an apartment. Having a good mortgage broker, instead of just going to the bank. When you walk directly to a bank, you can only get one rate and one product, because that's the bank can only offer you that. When you go to a broker, we have access to 40, 50, 60, 70 banks for some different brokers out there. So you definitely have to have the right team around you, but I think you also have to have a list of about 5 things that you have to have in your property. It could be balcony, carport, or for some people it could be an elevator or a gym in your apartment. For some people, if you're buying, most first home buyers, especially in Sydney, are buying apartments. If you're buying a house, you have to make sure you still have that list of 5 things. It could be the suburb. For some people, suburbs are the most important thing over the property. It could be you have to have a 1-bedroom or a 4-bedroom. You have to definitely have a list of 5 things that you can't go without within that property or within that neighborhood.
Okay. Next one, second last one, penultimate question. What are you looking forward to for the rest of the year? What's something you wanna do, and what's something that you just can't wait to do?
Obviously, see where the business is at in 6 months' time, or whenever December's, 6 months' time.
Yeah.
See where the business is at that point. See where I was at that time compared to where I was at last year, to make sure I still obviously am on that path to success. Obviously, traveling is a great thing, but not the most important thing that adds to happiness. Going back to the first question, I think it was happiness.
Yeah.
You have to have those outlets of happiness, where some people are traveling, so excited to travel, but realistically, just to see where the business is at as a whole, and obviously where I'm at that time of the year.
And finally, what would you say to the Will, 5-6 years ago, that was, thinking about like what he wanted to do,
I mean, you just got to enjoy life. They say don't take things for granted, but I think you have to a degree take it for granted. Enjoy the time while it's there. Not having those commitments of having to get up and work every day and return those phone calls, or reply to those emails, or have deadlines for certain tasks. Just enjoy life while you can, because eventually you have to just focus on your success and your future. So when you're young, you don't have to worry about that. You just wake up, you go to school, or whatever you may be doing, you just wake up and you live the day as it goes. So just enjoy life while you can.
And that is about it. This is my brother Will. He's killing it, and he's doing well for himself, and I'm very proud of him. He just recently turned 21, and that was crazy because he's 20. I have a 21-year-old brother. That's crazy, but this is the show where we're going to be talking about stuff that is meaningful, and where we're going to express our opinions. And this isn't the show where we're going to talk bullshit or talk about stuff that doesn't mean anything. This is stuff we want to talk about that actually will impact people and impact ourselves. And this interview is the interview, wasn't it? It's not even an interview show anymore. It's just a talk show. We chat, exactly. This chat, for me, I learn a lot about how Will aligns himself with certain things and how he can achieve stuff. And I hope that you know, you can look at both of our opinions about how to achieve your goals and have a good mindset and how to succeed from this. And, you know, you can apply that to yourself. But I'm Sam Fraser, the host, and this is the Reupload Talks.
Awesome.
Number 2. We're out.
Thank you for having me on.
As always,
Samuel.
good to see you.